What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Collective MMA channel. I'm here with my guy, The Wager Zone, for episode 5 of Fight IQ, and we're going to break down LFA 237 going down this Friday. Wager, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very well. Nothing. Can't complain about anything. Ready for some fights tomorrow. We got UFC on Saturday. We got PFL on Saturday as well. We got 3 different events we're going to be breaking down this week. So it's a busy week for us. A lot of tape study, and yeah, very excited for this main event because we got the Tabillo and a guy that just won as a giant underdog that has some power, and we also have Max and Lee coming off of a great win. Also was in a contender series. So it's gonna be a great main event, and we're going to Wisconsin for this one. So yeah, let's get it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. We'll be coming up with you guys for a PFL video tomorrow as well. So definitely stay tuned for that. So without any further ado, let's jump right into LFA 237. First fight of the night, we got Edward Montes versus Alex Zapata. We got Montes at minus 400 and Zapata at plus 300. What do you like in this one?
I like Montez in this one. I think overall I think he's only had like one fight that you can go and watch for his amateurs where they had headgear on. It was a kickboxing match. But from what I've seen, he pressures very well. He walks forward a lot. He pressures very well. It seems like he has some power in his hands. And he just tries to just walk it out. And it has like I said, he's a very pressure fighter. And one thing I see from Zapata is that he kind of folds under pressure. When people pressure him and push him back a lot, he kind of just backs up against the fence and he folds. He kind of like guards up and like crumbles up a bit and just accepts shots. So, and he doesn't really move his head very well either. So, this is a very low level fight. But to be honest, even though I've only seen one fight from Montes, I might actually be very confident in him in this LFA spot just because just the body language I've seen in Zapata's fights where he just backs up and he folds up against the fence and he doesn't really move very well. And he's also lost to like low level competition in amateurs. So I actually am very confident in Montes in this spot. So yeah, like I said, I told you right before we get on here, when I do my LFA breakdowns and I watch stuff, I don't look at any odds. So everybody just right now, he's gonna let me know the odds, and I don't know any of the odds. So minus 400 actually just seems actually like reasonable because I would have lined Montez probably like minus 400, minus 500.
For sure. And yeah, even just earlier today, Montez was like minus 200. I still see him at minus 200 range on some books. So, see what you got as far as that. But yeah, I'm with you. I got to take Montez here as well. I mean, I hate to say it, but, like I said, Montes only has that one fight, so it's kind of hard to know. There's a lot of questions. So like for me, I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to get involved in this one just because like there's a lot of unknowns. Yeah, we don't know anything about his ground game. We don't know how his takedown defense is. But yeah, I mean he wants to move forward. He's a power puncher. He is a little bit wild at times. I noticed from the one fight we saw. Again, it's who knows, maybe that was just that one fight. And yeah, Zapata is like a journeyman whose path to winning this fight, I'm guessing, would be to try to get the wrestling going, take him down, cage push, dirty it up, that kind of thing. But yeah, I think if they're on the feet for like an extended period of time here, I think I think Montes probably ends up knocking him out or hurting him badly. Like you mentioned, Zapata definitely kind of moves back, shells up, and honestly, again, hate to say it, but kind of looks like a jobber to me. I mean, he's 1-4 on the amateur scene, and yeah, this definitely seems like a setup spot for Montes. So we are both taking Montes in this one. Moving on to the next fight, we have Tysen Herken versus Kendall Whited. In this one, we got Tysen Herken coming in at minus 600 and Kendall Whited coming in at plus 425. In this one, this is one where like Herken, like I think he's fairly well rounded. He'll work the jab, mix up his attacks. He's got some head movement, some like takedown defense. He'll also mix in his own takedowns. He definitely seems to like to get the fight to the mat and ground and pound, look for submissions, that kind of thing. He also has some what seems like pretty good grappling with opportunistic back takes. He also can be a bit wild at times, but he is looking to finish the fight, which I do like. And his opponent here, Whitted, like he has some quick hands and some power, and he definitely looks like he's a pretty good athlete, but he's definitely pretty green. In his pro defeat, he ended up getting taken down and essentially just got, beat up, and he looked like he didn't really know how to like escape and maneuver on the ground from bottom position. So yeah, I think Herken will have a sizable edge here in the grappling, and I think that's why the line is as wide as it is. So yeah, I'll take Herken in this one, but just because of the line, not sure if I have much interest in betting this one. What about you?
I agree. I'm taking Herkins in this spot, mainly because I seen like I said, the other guy he's fighting. I like very athletic guy, but it just seems like he doesn't have the best ground game at all. When he's on his back, he kind of doesn't really know what to do. From what I've seen, he kind of just struggles when he's on his back. And Herkins is a guy, like you said, walks forward. He has a really good jab. He gets wild sometimes when he caught a lot of his punches. He doesn't move his head very well. That's the one thing I'm scared about him. Like he'll throw a shot and he'll leave his head down the center line, or he'll throw a leg kick and he'll leave his head literally right there while he's throwing a leg kick, and his hands go straight down. So I do worry about him not moving his head very well. But it just seems like he likes to get the fight to the floor. And he just fought a guy 2 fights ago, I believe. I want to say maybe it was amateurs, maybe it wasn't amateurs, where a guy almost the same type of build as the guy he's fighting right now. And that dude had really good takedown defense. I don't have my laptop in front of me, so I don't remember the names right now. But that guy had some pretty good takedown defense, was getting back up, and Herkins kept going forward and trying to take him down, and just kept the pressure on him, and eventually got the fight to the floor. And I feel like that was a harder fight for him. I think that guy was able to get back up. He was able to stop some takedowns. He was able to get a wizard and make some transitions a little bit difficult. But this one, I think this is tailor made for Herkins. I think Herkins is going to come in here, take him down, and probably end up winning this fight, probably by a submission or maybe just ground and pound. But I think he's probably gonna take his back and end up submitting him. So give me Herkins by submission.
Yep, I like it. I like the submission call. Moving on to our next one, we got Tremaine Jackson versus Jeremy Landowski. We got Jeremy coming in at minus 800 and Tremaine Jackson coming in at plus 550. What do you like in this one?
Obviously, I like the guy that's minus 800. What's it called? Landowski. I think that's how I pronounce it. I think he's a very good power puncher. He hits very hard, and I don't think Jackson's gonna be a guy that's gonna be withstand any of those shots. I think he's probably gonna be knocked out in the first round. To be honest, I didn't really watch too much tape on both of them. I think they're like what's it called? Their records are like 1-0 and 0-1, so professionally. So very green fighters, but from what I've seen, is Landowski has really good power. Jackson, he doesn't move his head very well, and if he gets caught with a hard shot, where Landowski hits like a truck, I think he's gonna eventually put him away. So I'm gonna say Landowski by knockout.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna join you here and take Landowski as well. Yeah, like from what's out there, like he seems like a solid grappler. He's got some power on the feet, like you mentioned. He's a power puncher.
Mm-hmm.
His striking game is still developing, though. Like you can tell, he's still a little green in the striking. And yeah, Jackson, good athlete. He does have some good wrestling. That's one thing that that I do like about his game. But he also doesn't have very much to offer on the feet and is quite uncomfortable out there. So yeah, I think Landowski gets this done probably by a knockout or by some sort of finish, maybe TKO or submission. But yeah, I mean, hey, if Jackson can get some takedowns and control time, Landowski is not going to look like a minus 800 favorite. So I'm probably going to stay away from this one. But yeah, as far as a pick, give me Landowski by finish.
That was the one thing I was gonna say. I'm probably not gonna bet this one. There's too much of a green fighters for me to go and bet a minus 800 on this one. So I'd probably stay away from it. I wouldn't bet it. And that's the one thing I forgot to say is that Jackson does have some decent wrestling. So like his path to victory in this fight is gonna be getting the fight to the floor. And obviously Landowski, he has some decent grappling as well. So from my just standpoint, I just believe it's gonna be more of a striking battle because you have a good wrestler, a good grappler. Most likely he's gonna be on the feet, and then someone's gonna get caught with a big shot because their stand-ups are both not the best. And I think it's just probably going to come down to the power and the head movement, and that's where you favor Landowski to get the knockout.
For sure. All right. Next up, we got Felipe Martinez versus Dylan Smerillo. We have Martinez at minus 175 and Smerillo coming in at plus 150. What do you like in this one?
What's it called? I like what is it? Felipe, what was his name again? Can't remember his name.
Felipe Martinez.
Felipe Martinez. This is a rematch between two guys.
It
Both
is.
of you guys have fought about like three fights ago on the records. And honestly, I haven't seen any improve. All the fights I've watched since that fight, I haven't really seen any improvements in either guy. I think they're the exact same fighters as before, and I think the exact same thing's going to happen. I think Felipe Martinez is probably going to get this fight to the floor, end up submitting him, taking his back. Same exact thing, honestly. It's going to be like rinse and repeat from the first fight because a lot of times when you watch a first fight and you see the second one, you're like, okay, let's see who's made the improvements to see what the difference going to be. I haven't seen any improvements from either guy. They're like the exact same fighter as from that fight. So it's a rematch, and they're probably going to get the exact same outcome: takedown, get a submission. So yeah, give me Martinez by sub.
All right, yeah, for me in this one, this is one that from a betting standpoint I'm staying away from. But yeah, like Martinez won the first fight. Yeah, got Smerillo down, used his ground and pound, which led to Smerillo giving up his back, and then that led to Martinez getting the round 1 submission. And in Smerillo's recent fight, he's striking, and he's either winning by guillotine or he's getting finished, and those are two major red flag for me. Yeah, he also isn't fighting the best competition either. So yeah, take that for what you will. Yeah, I think Martinez can get him down again and get either a TKO or submission. Yeah, and as you mentioned, like, I mean, it is a rematch. Typically, rematches don't go the exact same way. Even if not a whole heck of a lot's changed. But yeah, I have a hard time unless if Martinez can't get the takedowns, then Smerillo could have success. But yeah, I feel like Martinez likely is going to be able to get those takedowns going and then probably get him out of there. So yeah, I'll take Martinez by finish, but not super passionate about this one. So I'll leave this one alone.
Even if he doesn't get the takedown himself, Smerillo, or how do you pronounce his name, is gonna pull a guillotine. He's gonna end up on bottom either way.
He
So
might.
like that's what.
True. If he does that, yeah, it's all over. So yeah, no, 100%. Okay, we'll keep on running. Next up, we got Oscar Sanchez versus Braden Pagaoa. He goes by a different name. Puni Pagaoa as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's other names. Yeah, Oscar Sanchez versus Puni Pagaoa. We got Sanchez at -230, and we got Puni Pagaoa at +195. For this one, I like Puni Pagaoa in this one. Sanchez, like, he's big for the weight class. He is like got decent striking. Not the best takedown defense. Like, he ends up on his back a lot. He will like work back to the feet and like kind of use the cage to like work his way back up. But he does often end up getting stuck on the cage as well. And he's also quite hittable as well. Like, I don't think he's the most defensively responsible fighter out there by any means. And Puni, he trains with Extreme Couture. He's got good striking with fast hands and power for the weight class. He's got a lot of finishes in flyweight, which isn't super common. And I think he's going to have the better fight IQ here. He's quite poised in the octagon as well, which I do like. And yeah, I mean, Sanchez's record is 5-2, and Pagaoa's record's 5-4. So obviously, he doesn't look the prettiest by any means. However, I also want to note that in Pagaoa's last fight, the fact that his opponent won by unanimous decision, I thought was kind of insane. I thought he won that fight. Arguably could have had a 10-8 in round 1 as well. Again, that's kind of besides the point. But either way, I think that, or I mean, it kind of relates. I think because of that and because his record doesn't look that pretty, I think we're getting a heck of a price here on Puni Pagaoa. So I actually think the odds should be flipped. I think he should be a -150 or better favorite. And I think Sanchez should be the dog. So I think, Puni Pagaoa at about, +195 in that range. I think there's a lot of value there. So I think the dog is definitely live in this one, and I think the dog should be the favorite in this one. So give me Puni Pagaoa. What about you?
I agree with you that the line should probably be closer, and I do think there's a lot of value at that +195 on Puni. But I'm gonna have to pick Sanchez in this spot, just because I think Puni has some fast hands. I agree with you, very fast hands, and he has a lot of finishes for a flyweight because he obviously has the power. But the one thing I've seen is that one thing I like about Sanchez is there's no wasted movements. Every time he's walking forward, he's always keeping a jab on you. He's every time if you're in the clinch, he knows how to, he throws a lead. What's it called? He throws a elbow inside the clinch. He's throwing knees in the clinch. Every single time there's a takedown and he breaks from it, he's throwing an elbow inside the clinch. There's no really wasted movements from him. So that's the one thing I do like. He's going to be the one probably pushing the pace on Puni. And the one thing I've seen about Puni is Puni is great at being the hammer, but not really being the nail. As in the standpoint of when he's walking forward and he's being the bully and he's being the guy, that's when he does very well. He puts the pace on you, he throws combinations together and everything. But when he's backing up, I do think he kind of struggles. And that's where I just see that Sanchez is going to be able, like I said, no wasted movements from him. From my perspective, his takedown defense is not really there, but when it's on the feet, he does like have a lot of like good combinations. When, like I said, he has a step in elbow every time they're in the clinch. He's throwing knees, elbows out of the clinch, stopping takedowns and pushing away. It seems like the IQ is pretty decent, but this fight's going to come down to, in my opinion, who's walking forward and who's the one that's going to be pushing the pace, who's going to be the bully in this fight. And that's why I said there's going to be value on Puni at a plus 195, because I would line this a lot closer. If I'm making the line, I'm probably making minus 120, minus 110, minus 105, minus 120. I think it's going to be almost a damn near pick'ems. I think both these fighters are really good fighters. But I'm gonna have to lean towards Sanchez because, like I said, I think there's no wasted movement. I think he's gonna have more of the bigger shots, especially with those elbows, and I think it's probably gonna go to decision, and we could probably even get a split. So yeah, give me Sanchez, but not too confident in him.
All right. Next up, we got Jaida Harshman versus Cara Greenwell. On this one, the odds are fluctuating like crazy on this one. At one point, Harshman was minus 150 and Greenwell was plus 110. Then it was a pick'em, and now Greenwell is minus 200 and Harshman is plus 190. So yeah, for right now, Harshman plus 190, Greenwell minus 230. What do you like in this one?
I like Greenwell, and I'm actually like I really thought she'd be the underdog. I mean, I guess she was the underdog she was the underdog. So I was thinking like, okay, Greenwell's going to be a good underdog price because I think Tapology. I know Tapology like what's it called? Percentages don't really matter, but I think that Harshman, or however you pronounce the name, was like 84% on Tapology. And when I saw that, I was like, Cara Greenwell's the better fighter. I was like, I just think overall she's just a dog. Like she's not gonna give up on herself. She's gonna be able to grapple with Harshman. I think she's probably gonna be a slightly better striker. But it's gonna be a good fight. Don't get me wrong. It's lower level women's MMA because these girls are very green and very early in their career. So we're gonna probably get a close fight. But I have to go with Cara Greenwell because I believe overall, from all aspects of the game, that she's a better fighter. So. Dang, but I'm gonna tell you this right now, minus 200. I don't know if I want that because I thought she'd be like a plus 110, plus 120, and she was. I guess she was the underdog. I would have hopped on her right then and there, but maybe even minus 140, minus 150, I'd take her. But plus minus 200, I don't know if I can get there, but still, Cara Greenwell's gonna be my pick.
All right. And yeah, just again, I'll mention it again. There are a couple of books out there that have Greenwell. You can get her minus 110 or minus 120. And I think that's a good bet. I'll say right now, I bet Greenwell plus 110. Looking at this LFA card, this was one of the fights that I was most looking forward to taping just because there's a lot of big favorites on this card. And this was the, closest line fight. So yeah, I taped this one and, just kind of reading into like just these fighters and just looking at the ages and everything like that. It definitely looks like they are wanting Harshman to come in here and get this one done. But yeah, watching tape, like you mentioned, I think Greenwell's pretty much better everywhere. I think she's the much better striker, fought the much better competition. Yeah, way more experience. She actually has a lot of amateur experience as well, which I really like. In one of her last fights, she fought Mia Gra, who we covered last weekend in PFL, and yeah. I favor her on the feet. I favor her in the grappling. So I think the only way Harshman can like even make this fight close would be like wrestling. And from what I've seen from Harshman and some of her amateur tape, I don't think her wrestling is some like elite level or anything like that. I'm like, yeah, she can get in some takedowns, sure, but like her control doesn't seem to be all that great. And again, Greenwell, I mean, in her last fight, she fought Gabby McComb, who is a very good prospect and a very good grappler in her own right. And Greenwell ended up in a couple of bad spots, fought out of them. I was really impressed by that. Eventually, she did end up getting submitted, but overall, she fought out of a number of bad spots, and I was very impressed with her. She had a couple of other good wins in the LFA, beating Leslie Hernandez as a big underdog. And yeah, overall, I just think Cara Greenwell is going to show her levels in this fight, piece her up on the feet, stuff the takedowns, and she's going to win a unanimous decision. So yeah, if you can go and get Greenwell at Pick'em, I think that's a very solid bet and one of the best bets, if not the best bet, on this whole LFA card. So we will move on to the next fight. We have Ezayah Gomez versus Luther Egerson. We have Gomez at minus 800 and Egerson at plus 550. In this one, like you got to take Gomez here, but like the line, like I have zero interest in betting this fight for a few reasons, and I'll get into that. Like, for starters, like, this guy's only had a couple of fights. He's very green, and in his first fight in the LFA, he looked awful. He arguably could have lost that fight against a guy who he had no business keeping it close with. At the end of the first and second round, he was getting rocked against the cage, eating shots, eating knees, horrible optics. So yeah, I think this guy wins. But I don't know, like I said, like, he's got good wrestling and he trains with Thomas Peterson in the UFC, who's fighting this weekend. But yeah, he's got poor cardio and is not defensively responsible. I couldn't find much tape on Egerson other than a Street Beefs fight. So I watched that, and the guy he's fighting was like way smaller than him. So like, it's hard to even take anything from that. But yeah, he pretty much took the guy down and then just like beat him up from like mount and got a TKO. So that was kind of funny to watch. But yeah, I don't really know what Egerson's going to bring to this fight. But yeah, I have zero interest in betting Gomez at this price, and he's definitely a guy that I'm going to be looking to fade down the road because there's a lot of red flags with this guy. So yeah, give me Gomez, but no way I'm parlaying him at -800. What about you?
You see, I'm on the Gomez side in this spot, and I that's the one thing I do disagree with you on, is that I will parlay him probably at this -800 price, just because this guy has really, really good wrestling. Yeah, the cardio is not really there, but he's young and he's getting better. He's still early in his career. And this guy is a very athletic, very athletic guy. He played football in high school, was a really good football player. He's a state wrestling champion out of Minnesota. So being a state champion out of Minnesota, this shows how great your wrestling is. Because Minnesota might be the top most wrestling state in all of high schools in the country. And he's a state champion wrestler out of Minnesota. So he's going to be able to get a takedown in this fight because, yeah, I understand that he was the other guy, Egerson, Street Beefs. I saw the fight too. Took the guy down, but there's a different level of wrestling from Street Beefs wrestling and the state champion out of Minnesota. So I think Ezayah, how you pronounce his name, Gomez, is going to be able to take this fight down to the floor pretty easily, get his fight done. I do think he gets it done in the first round. I think he's going to win this fight by first round ground and pound. Yeah, like the wrestling, I think is gonna be too much for him. I think the cardio is gonna get better with time. Being an athletic guy, like working his whole entire life, playing football, wrestling in high school, state champion. I do believe that cardio is gonna get there eventually, but just with like. I just believe the wrestling, and especially at heavyweights, you're gonna get far in your career if you know how to wrestle. Just get the cardio right, and then use the wrestling. You'll be able to win these fights pretty easily. So yeah, give me Gomez, and I actually am very confident in him this weekend.
All right. Moving on to our next fight, we have Ray Hayes versus short notice replacement. His opponent, Verdinez, who he's supposed to fight, pulled out. So he is now fighting Nathan Trepagnier. We have Ray Hayes coming in at -500 and Nathan Trepagnier coming in at +375. What do you like in this one?
I guess I like Ray Hayes. I didn't do tape study on this fight, as in for the other guy, the short notice replacement. I didn't even know the fight was replaced until you told me about it like a couple hours ago. I didn't even know the Verdinez wasn't even fighting. But yeah, the Verdinez fight, I wasn't be picking Verdinez, but the one thing I could say is I thought it was gonna be a very close fight. I thought it was a fight I probably wouldn't have bet because I thought it could have went either way. But Verdinez was going to be my pick. But I guess I'll go Hayes in this spot, but I don't have no education on this one at all because I don't even know who the other guys even bringing. So -500, I'm not taking it because I don't even know what the other guy has. So like, I'm just being honest. I don't know anything about this fight.
All right. For me in this one, yeah, I'm gonna pick Hayes to win here. Yeah, I agree. Even with the Verdinez fight, I thought that was gonna be an interesting fight, and I thought Reyes might have had some value as a dog in that one. He is definitely a little bit green, but he is very big for the weight class. Hasn't fought the best competition either, but again, obviously sometimes it is tough on the amateur scene to find good competition. But he throws a lot of teeps and straight punches, which I like for somebody who's like a rangy or striker. And Trepagnier is like a boxer. He does some MMA fights, but he's done a couple boxing fights recently. Yeah, like he's taking on short notice, and from the tape I saw, like he'll look to mix it up on the feet. He'll throw punches, kicks, shoot some takedowns, that kind of thing. But yeah, I just think Hayes is going to be the much bigger guy here, and I think that could, keeping him at distance, teep, straight punches, I think that could really work for him well here. And I think Trepagnier is going to be a live underdog for as long as this fight lasts. And I can honestly see both guys getting hurt at potentially in this fight. but at some point I see Trepagnier trying to close the distance, and Hayes clips him on the way in, and he ends up finishing the fight. So yeah, I think Hayes wins here by knockout. But yeah, at minus 500, and with the short notice replacement, I probably don't want anything to do with this one. So I'll stay away from this one. Moving on to our next fight, we have Lucas Faria versus Elias Rodriguez. We have Rodriguez coming in at minus 3,300. Yes, you heard that right, minus 3,300. And Faria coming in at plus 1,400. This one, yeah, Rodriguez, like, I think this guy's the goods. He trains with Corey Sandhagen. He's Corey Sandhagen's protege. But yeah, sadly, minus 3,300. I definitely will not be parlaying that. Again, that does literally nothing for you. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty confident he's going to win. Yeah, he's well-rounded and has a lot of potential. I think this guy's, destined to be in the UFC at some point. And Faria hasn't fought in 2 years. And in his last fight, he got violently knocked out by Jose Delgado. And I could see something very, very similar happening in this fight. So give me Elias Rodriguez by knockout. But yeah, that line, not a whole lot you can do with that. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with you. I like Rodriguez a lot in this spot, but minus 3,300, you can't really do much with it. They won't even add anything to your parlays, really, so there's no reason even to add it. But yeah, I agree. I think Rodriguez is going to be in the UFC one day. This guy has so much skills. I've been watching this guy I think he's only had like 3 or 4 fights in his career. I feel like I've watched every single one of them, and I've been waiting for this guy. I'm like, this guy has skills. This guy has the grappling, he has striking, his cardio is decent. He's an all-around great fighter. I'm a really big fan of this guy. We are going to see him in the UFC one day. Hey, and that's what's going to get you in the UFC. You knock out Faria, you're gonna get in the UFC. That's
right.
That's literally what's gonna happen. He's gonna come in here. He's gonna knock this guy out. I think he's better absolutely everywhere. This guy, like, I agree with you. He has the goods. We're gonna see him in the UFC one day. So give me Rodriguez by knockout.
All right, we'll keep on running with our next one. We have Joey Hart versus James Martin. We have Joey Hart coming in at minus 160 and James Martin coming in at plus 140. What do you like in this one?
What was the odds?
Joey Hart minus 160 and James Martin plus 140.
Man, I don't want to seem like I'm picking all the favorites in this card, but man, I swore I thought Joey Hart was going to be an underdog. I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get my underdog on Joey Hart," but I'm picking Joey Hart because I just think he's the better fighter. The other guy's 5-0, very green. He hasn't fought the best competition, and Joey Hart's fought so much good competition. Everybody that's actually a really good fighter, Joey Hart's fought them. He had a Contender Series fight where I think he lost that fight, but I think it was a split decision. He lost the fight, and that guy is still only has one guy he's lost to in the Contender Series. Still only has one loss on his resume. So I like Joey Hart. This guy has really good takedown defense. It's getting better and better. He has a good jab. He's big for the weight class. He walks forward. He puts combinations together, and he can get takedowns himself. So the one thing that Joey Hart, I think, tends to struggle with is that once that third round comes, he slows down a lot. And that's the one thing that worries me, is that he does get tired in the later rounds. But still, this guy has really good skills. I'm actually going to be doing an interview with Joey Hart. So I've actually contacted him. I actually talked to Joey Hart about I want to say 5-6 months ago. We scheduled an interview. We never got to it, but I messaged him up again. We're going to be doing an interview. So I'm a big fan of Joey Hart. I think this guy has really good skills. And like I said, I really thought I was going to be getting underdog price on Joey Hart this spot, but I guess I'm not. I guess I'm taking another favorite. But give me Joey Hart. I think he wins by decision. I think the volume and the takedown defense is going to be too much for I think it's Martin he's fighting. The guy's name is Martin. But yeah, I think the takedown defense is going to be there. I think the volume is going to be there. So I think Joey Hart's going to win decision.
All right. Yes, I also like Joey Hart in this one. He does scare me a little bit just because you mentioned that he has really good takedown defense. I'm not sure I'd call it really good. Maybe it's improving. I'm definitely hoping it is. But yeah, he's a very good rangy Muay Thai striker. Yeah, okay takedown defense from what I've seen. I'm hoping it can get better. Yeah, was on the Contender Series, lost a close decision. Yeah, grappling seems okay, but he definitely seems like a strike first type guy. But yeah, I'm in this one. I'm not sure his opponent's gonna Martin here is gonna be able to make this one a grappling fight. Martin definitely does have some crafty jiu-jitsu, and he is okay striker, but nothing special. I don't think Hart's going to be too worried about what's coming back his way on the feet here. So yeah, as long as Hart can keep this fight on the feet, I think he can either win a clean decision here or potentially get a knockout. So yeah, I like Joey Hart here. I think he could be worth a look. Yeah, on some sites you can get him at -150. I don't think that's a bad straight bet by any means. Moving on to our next one, we have Dylan Diebitz versus Preston LaGrange. We have Dylan Diebitz coming in at +170 and Preston LaGrange coming in at -200. For me in this one, give me the dog in this one. Give me Diebitz in this one. I think this fight's going to be competitive, but I think Diebitz is going to get it done. I think the striking is going to be close. I think the grappling in this one's going to be close, but Diebitz is going to have a wrestling advantage here, and I think that could be the difference for him. I'm just not sold on LaGrange, and like I don't know, he might end up winning. Like it's gonna be a close fight, I think, like I mentioned. But if the striking is gonna be close and the grappling is gonna be close, and there's one guy who has a sizable wrestling advantage and he's +170, I think that's definitely the side. So yeah, give me Diebitz in this one. What about you?
I agree that this is a very close fight. I honestly, going into right now, I still don't even know who I'm going to pick. I'm not even going to lie. I think this fight's so close. I was going back and forth the whole time. But when it comes down to that, I obviously go with the underdog. I think it's such a close fight and it's 50-50 and I can't pick either one. I think it's dog or pass for me. I'm going to go with Diebitz because I agree with you. He does have the wrestling in this spot, and I think that's what's going to come down to it. I agree that the striking is going to be even. Both of them are probably going to look okay in striking. They're both going to land some shots on each other. They're both grappling, going to probably go back and forth, and their grappling is pretty even with each other. But where it comes down to is the wrestling, and I think Diebitz is going to be the one getting the fight to the floor, and he's going to be the one probably with more top control. I think it's going to be a close fight. I think they're both going to have their spots, and we can even get a split decision on this one. But hey, 50-50 fights to me is dog or pass. So give me Diebitz.
Right on. We'll keep on running with our next one. We have Kegan Gennrich versus Jose Mendez. We have Gennrich at -310 and Mendez at +260. What do you like in this one?
I like Gennrich in this spot. Mainly because these are two guys that are going to be grappling. These are two grapplers. Both these guys like to get the fight to the floor, and both these guys like to probably get both have some submissions on the record. And it comes down to where Gennrich is fought the better competition. You can beat a whole bunch of guys that I believe I can't remember his name. What's the other guy's name real quick? What's his name?
Jose Mendez.
Jose Mendez, yeah. Jose Mendez, he's fought a lot of low-level competition from what I've seen. A lot of guys that have losing records, a lot of guys that are like even records, debuts, he's beating a lot of cans. And Gennrich has fought a lot of really good fighters, and he's beating some good fighters. So I think when it comes down to two grapplers, two guys who I believe they're going to try to get the same as that kind of game plan to win this fight, I'm going to go with the guy that's fought the better overall competition, because it shows me that his grappling just is working against better fighters. So his grappling is most likely going to be better. And I just watching the tape, his grappling looks better as well. So I'm going to say Gennrich wins this fight. I'm going to say he wins by submission.
All right. I also like Gennrich in this spot. Yeah, he's a pretty good grappler. In his last fight, he beat former UFC fighter Austin Hubbard. He finished him off with an arm triangle. And he is a bit awkward on the feet, but like he is a pressure fighter, so he's going to, stay in your face, back you up behind the black line and try and take you down, and then implement his grappling style. And Mendez, man, he's getting wobbled and going tooth and nail with absolute cans on the regional scene, and that's such a red flag for me. Like, I'm not sold on Gennrich either by any means, and like I think -310 is like a little wide. But yeah, Mendez, like I'm just not sold on him. Like, yeah, it could end up being close, but yeah, this one I'm probably just gonna stay away from. And I mean, like I said, Mendez in his last fight, he fought a guy. Sorry, not in his in his last fight, he fought a guy who his record is 23 wins and 51 losses, and he got rocked by this dude. And he was on skates out there, and some of his other fights too, he's getting rocked. In his one loss, he got knocked out pretty violently. So yeah, I think I'm gonna pick Gennrich here, but yeah, I don't have much interest in this one, so I'll probably stay away from this one. All right, moving on to our main event of the evening. We have Carlos Tardio versus Maxim Lee. We have Carlos Tardio at +235 and Maxim Lee at -275. This is an interesting one. I think this is one of the more interesting fights of the night for a few different reasons. Um, I mean, you have Max and Lee, who's a 6'1" bantamweight, who's like an absolute, freak for the weight class. Like you never see 6'1" fighters in this weight class, or rarely ever. It's quite rare to see. Obviously, he was getting finish after or a couple finishes in a row there in the LFA, and then he got a shot in the contender series and essentially just got wrestled and got bullied for 3 rounds by Hecher Sosa. And then on the flip side, you have Carlos Tardio, who made his LFA debut in his last fight. In my opinion, they were trying to feed him to an undefeated fighter to give him another win. And this guy came out here as a plus 1,000 underdog and got it done. It was fairly close, but I was watching that fight and I think he definitely won. Like he rightfully was the winner in that fight. He was doing better on the feet. And again, he was going up against a wrestler who didn't have that much to offer on the feet and was more so looking to wrestle. And Tardio was the one actually who was having more success with the wrestling. He got a few takedowns, had a couple slams, that kind of thing. Yeah, like both of these guys I think are pretty green. And Lee, one thing I don't like about him is he doesn't have the best fight IQ or shot selection. Oftentimes he ends up throwing these like spinning wheel kicks and ends up being in a very bad position where I think at some point against a higher level of competition, he's either going to end up getting taken down because of that or he's going to end up getting hurt because of that. He struggles off his back and he can get bullied in the grappling or along the fence in the wrestling game as well. And Tardio, in his last fight, he was training with Team Alpha Male, so like Uriah Faber and like all those guys. And yeah, I mean, his game plan in that fight seemed to be like quite good. He's got like an interesting karate sort of style, kind of that karate stands bouncing on the outside. He'll kind of blitz in with those straight punches, throw a variety of kicks and that kind of thing. So there's some parts of his striking that I do like. Honestly, I'm typically a fan of watching the karate style strikers. I think they're usually pretty entertaining to watch. He didn't seem to have the best control in his last fight, wrestling wise. But again, he's also going up against a guy who is was a wrestler. That was his background. So yeah, in this one, as far as a pick, I'll take Max and Lee. However, I think from a betting standpoint, I'm not going to be betting or parlaying Max and Lee. I kind of think this is a dog or pass. Like, I think if Tardio comes in with the right game plan and he's wrestling and he's able to have success, he's going to end up looking like a massive favorite because Lee doesn't really have that much to offer. Like, unless he's getting a front choke and he gets put on his back or he gets, stuck against the cage, he ain't getting out of there unless the ref comes to break it up and save him. So, yeah, I think there could end up being some value on Tardio here. I think the fact that the line is as close as it is, like, yeah, Max and Lee at minus 275 kind of speaks volumes. Lee opened up as minus 170. And then obviously some money came in on Lee. But the fact that he opened at minus 170 kind of tells you that Vegas is putting some respect on Tardio's name, and they don't think this is going to be an easy fight for Lee by any means. Again, this is kind of striker versus grappler, but Tardio is also a decent striker as well. I don't think he's going to be completely bankrupt in the feet. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to pick Lee. I think Lee, if they're on the feet long enough, Lee has a good chance of knocking out Tardio, but Tardio has more pathways to win here. So at over plus 200, I think Tardio would be the side. So yeah, pick is Lee, but I think this is a dog or pass here. What about you?
I like Max and Lee in this spot. I feel like the line, in my opinion, is just a lot of recency bias. I feel like that a lot of people see Sosa and they're like, "Oh, you lost to the contender series, so you're coming off the loss of the contender series," and they see Tardio coming off of a plus 1,000 underdog. And I feel like a lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, he beat this guy, so he's probably gonna make this one close." And I feel like that's the reason why the line was a lot closer. If Tardio would have lost that fight, and like I said, it was a close fight, I think he won the fight, but Tardio went out there and did his thing as a plus 1,000 underdog. But I think if he would have lost that fight, this line would probably been so much wider. I guess so. Even with the skill levels. So I like Max and Lee in this spot. I think he's overall the better striker, like easily. I think he's going to be able to put more combinations together. He kind of gets wild. I agree with you. He throws that spinning kick and he can get grabbed on his back and take him down. Kind of like IQ is kind of low. But I feel like he's getting better. He's still young. He's getting better. His jiu-jitsu is not that bad either. Like he doesn't have the best takedown defense and he kind of just lays on his back. But in some certain fights, I know they were probably against low-level competition. His jiu-jitsu looks pretty good as well. It's like pretty decent jiu-jitsu. But his striking is where he makes his money. And that fight against Hecher Sosa, Hedger Sosa, anybody that is watching this right now, and you guys are members of my Patreon. Back then, it was a Buy Me a Coffee page. It wasn't my Patreon. I was telling everybody that Hedger Sosa was the underdog of the day because Hedger Sosa was the underdog in that fight, and I was like, everybody go take Hedger Sosa. This guy's great wrestling, trains with Elias Taporia. His boxing is legit too, and Hedger Sosa is still 15-1. This guy is a really really good fighter. So Max and Lee's ended up fighting a guy that's really really good. Now this is a giant step down in competition, and I just think Max and Lee had to improve from that. From what I've seen, for the most part, guys that lose in the contender series, they end up making big improvements because they go back to the drawing board and make some improvements. And I just think this is a really good fight for him. So I like Max and Lee. I think he's gonna win this fight by knockout. But I agree. I think this line. I thought this line was going to be wider. I'm not going to lie. I thought this line was going to be like maybe like minus 350, minus 400, but minus 230 or wherever it was. I kind of like that line, honestly. So, yeah, give me Max and Lee, and I think he does it by knockout.
Fair enough. All right, that is the main event. We covered all of the fights on the card, so we will move on to our next segment, our fighter to watch and our fight of the night. So, Wager, let me ask you, who is your fighter to watch on LFA 237?
Fight of the watch is the easiest. It's the same as I think I told you guys about Gable Stevenson and stuff like that. Even though he was a giant favorite, he's the fighter to watch. It's Elias Rodriguez, and I think even he's the fighter to watch. Even Collective MMA. I know we try to pick different and like not say the same person, but you have to know the fighter to watch in this is gonna be Elias Rodriguez. This guy's gonna be in the UFC one day. This guy has all the goods. This guy is probably one of the best skilled fighters I've seen come out of LFA. Besides what's it called, like I guess you could say Gable Stevenson was in LFA for like one fight, but he's one of the best like upcoming prospects. Like I would say he's the best LFA prospect since Sean O'Malley. I'm not even lying. I think that he's one of the best prospects I've seen in a long time. I think Elias Rodriguez has the goods, and this guy's better everywhere. So he's my fighter to watch.
All right, for me in this one, for my fighter to watch, I'm gonna take Cara Greenwell. I think she's gonna come out here and she's gonna upset the 1-0, but she's going to upset the undefeated prospect in this one. Yeah, I think she's going to show off her Muay Thai striking, defend the takedowns, and I think she's going to look like a, very quality fighter on Friday night. So, yeah, for my fighter to watch, I'm going to go with Cara Greenwell. What about your fight of the night? What's your fight of the night?
Fight of the night is going to be, I can't remember his name, the guy is fighting right now, but it's going to be Joey Hart. And who's Joey Hart fighting? Can't remember his name.
Martin.
James Martin, Joey Hart's gonna be the fight of the night because I do believe that Joey Hart, if you watch any of his fights, it's always most likely gonna be a great fight. This guy walks forward, he lands combinations. I think Martin's gonna be trying to take him down. He might even get a couple takedowns, but I think Joey Hart's gonna pop back up, land some hard shots on him, and maybe even get caught with some hard shots as well. Because Joey Hart, for some reason, Joey Hart's a really good fighter. For some reason, he fights down to his competition, or like for some reason, like if they're not that good, he'll fight the same competition level. For some reason, like he is a better fighter here, but it's gonna be a close fight most likely. So I think Joey Hart and Martin's gonna be the fight of the night.
All right, for my fight of the night, I am gonna go with Oscar Sanchez versus Pagaoa. I think this one's gonna be entertaining. Like I'm always a fan of watching the flyweights. Probably my favorite weight class to watch, in all honesty. I just think these guys are so fast, so skilled. And I think this is going to be a striking affair. I think big punches are going to be landed on both sides. And I think that's going to be one of the wars of the night. So give me Sanchez versus Pagaoa. All right. That wraps up our breakdown and our fight of the night and our fighter to watch. So, Wager, tell the people, what do you got going on your channel these next couple days?
Next couple of days, I'm going to be doing my live, or I'm going live every single day again. I kind of got away from it, but I'm trying to go live every single day, breaking down baseball and soccer, like always. Doing my thing every single day. Tonight, I'm gonna go and post a LFA best bets video. I'm gonna go and post that one, like a little individual best bets video. I'll also be having my UFC best bets video out tomorrow. And also, we're going to be here doing PFL here. And I also post a PFL best bets video on my page as well. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you guys subscribe to Collective MMA. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to the Wager Zone for other sports as well. And click the thumbs up. Leave a comment for the algorithm. I appreciate all. I've seen a lot of my followers coming over here, and a lot of them are telling me they love the show, messaging me personally, telling me they like what we're doing, and like that I actually collabing with you. So I appreciate you, Collective MMA, for doing this, and I appreciate all of my followers coming over here and checking out Collective as well, because this guy is a very knowledgeable MMA analyst.
Appreciate it, man. And yeah, likewise, I've been really enjoying doing the show with you as well. And yeah, shout out to all the people dropping the comments. Really appreciate all the kind words. And yeah, it definitely helps out the algorithm a lot too. Helps our video get out there. So yeah, thanks again for that. And yeah, for me, yeah, as Wager mentioned, we're gonna do a PFL video for you guys tomorrow. We'll put that out, and then I'm also gonna do a best MMA bets of the weekend or of the week sort of thing video tomorrow as well. So yeah, definitely hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on as well, so you don't miss any of the uploads. And yeah, hit the like, subscribe to both channels. Really appreciate all the support. And yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, and we will catch you guys in the next one.